that feel the presence of God. For the presence of God is often described as love. And so we bring that feeling of love inside of us to us right now. Perhaps it takes the picture in your mind's eye of a pet or of a great friend or somebody that you love deeply in your family, a spouse, a brother, a sister, a child. Whatever it is that brings up that feeling for you, do it now. And just feel the presence of love in you. And that's the presence of God, right here, right now, in this very space. And so feeling it together multiplies its existence, its beauty, its power. And we do that, and we align with it and with each other, knowing that we are all pulling on the same end of the rope, moving forward. We're all offering our best at all times, and we just revel in that idea. We do that with gratitude. We're grateful for Unity of Pasadena. We're grateful for each other. We're grateful for those people that get here and do the difficult things. We're so grateful for our board of trustees and our president who steps into a role that is really demanding and does it with love and grace and ease. We're so grateful for that. And we're so grateful for our volunteers. And you've seen them already. You've seen them at the front door greeting you. You've seen them here doing the things that need to be done so that our live stream audience can participate as well. The PowerPoint presentations, the prayer chaplains that hold the light for you and me, all of us. We're so grateful for our musician today, for Mitch always brings the beauty and joy of a spiritual song, touches our hearts and really magnifies the love we have in our lives. We're so grateful for that. And so with all this gratitude, we just know that today's service is absolutely perfect, and we rest in that idea. We release it, we let it go, knowing that it's already done. And please join me by saying, and so it is. Amen.
So it is.
Well, as usual, if I close my eyes during prayer, a couple more people show up. That's great. Good to see you guys. So we can pop the lights back on. And we do that so that I can read a question from this basket here, get a little light on the subject, and see if I can actually read with these eyes. I think I have some glasses over there in the case that I can't. So I'm going to reach in here and grab one of these. These are questions that are brought to us by you guys. You will write a question on this piece of paper and drop it in this basket, and I pick it. And sometimes I search for the one that grabs my attention. Sometimes it has some glitter on it. If you really want to get yours read, you'll do a little origami or something, turn it into a goose or some people do that. They're very good. They're very, very good at that. And sometimes the shallowness in me says, pick that one. Yeah, I just need to be entertained, So this one says, I love questions. Wow. See what we got. Well, I know this one's serious because it has lines that have been drawn on a piece of paper without lines. So it took some time to come up with this, This is great. Question, Gandhi. Reach back in the back of my mind here. My mother was Hindu, so I get a little bit of that, going on. So Gandhi said, "The weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong." What is your opinion? Well, that's interesting. Well, I think that forgiveness is something that we all strive for as a way of being. Some people, I think, like to be offended, but I don't. I don't actually look to be offended, but a lot of people do. And they live in that space where they're just not used to a way of being called forgiveness, which actually truly is a way of being. I mean, what kind of heart do you want to live from is the question I ask myself. Do you want to live from a heart that's open and forgiving, or do you want to live from that space that draws in offense, that creates resentment, that is always looking for something and judging, looking for something wrong and judging it. I really don't want to do that. What I want to do is look for that principle, that way of being that allows me to live a life that is all about what it takes to not be offended, to not be, and I don't always do this, by the way. I can't always do this, but I believe that forgiveness is a way of being, and we work on that every single day. So, I think Gandhi's absolutely right, but I think that Gandhi is right because it takes a really insightful person to understand that it's not just specific actions that we have to react to, it's a way of being that we have to align with. A way of loving, a way of creating compassionate understanding in our lives that can bring about this idea that forgiveness happens automatically through us. You know, we talked about this in reimagining when we were going through Lent. We talked about how Jesus reimagined forgiveness, and that the statement from the cross, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. He absolutely came from that space, a way of being, came from that deep, heart-centered knowing that something is serious and difficult and drastic as a crucifixion could be forgiven. But more than that, a way of thinking that brought that about. And so Jesus stepped into it, and he asked us to do it too. So I think Gandhi and Jesus were on the same line, by the way. They were essentially talking about the same thing. I think the greats of any religion are generally talking about the same sort of thing. So yeah, it's hard to live in that space where forgiveness is your way of being. It's difficult. And constant striving, that's what we do. That's why we're here. We're here to practice those things. And you know what? And here's the deal. We can't practice those things without the imperfections of real people like you and me showing themselves now and again, you know? So we get a great framework for practicing those things. And I'm grateful for that too. Grateful for that. And so I don't know how many minutes I went. How many minutes did I go?
Well, I can't lie. I forgot to turn it on right at first. So I started it for a second, so I'm going to say about 2 minutes, about 2.5 minutes.
You think it's about 2.5 minutes? Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Well, that makes up for me going way over last week, so that's good. Yep. So anyway, whoever wrote that question, thank you for that. I sure appreciate that. I hope I stepped into it in a way that made sense. So, all right. So, Mitch, we're going to sing, aren't we? Or we're going to listen to you sing.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
I'm gonna clear out my head. I'm gonna get myself straight. I know it's never too late to make a brand new start. I'm gonna kick down the door. I'm gonna get myself in. I'm gonna fix up the yard, and I'll fall back again. I'm gonna clear up my earth and build a heaven on the ground. Not something distant or unfound, but something real to me. But something real to me. All that I can be, I can be. All that I am, I can see. All that is mine is in my hands. So to myself I call. There's somewhere else I should be. There's somewhere else I can see. There's something more I can find. It's only up to me. I'm gonna clear out my head. I'm gonna get myself straight. I know it's never too late to make a brand new start. To make a brand new start. To make a brand new start.
Thank you, Mitch. That was beautiful. And it's perfect for today. Sunday, April 26, 2026. Blessed. I am blessed with peace, calm, and the love of God. Today, if someone asks me how I am, I will smile and respond, I am blessed. This simple declaration will set the tone for the day, encouraging me to notice blessings large and small, especially the little things I may take for granted. I will also be mindful that God is the source of all my blessings. I find my greatest blessings is in the grounding myself in God's grace. It brings me peace, calms my fears, and is a bright guiding light in dark and difficult times. In the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus described the blessings of life, reminding those gathered that the truest wealth is not measured by money and power. I take those words to heart and feel deeply grateful. I am spiritually blessed, enriched by God's unwavering love. Spiritual reference is from Matthew chapter 5, verse 8. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Today's meditation is a combination of blessed and courage. And one thing about being a prayer chaplain is that you can bring God's presence into your life. You've done it with other people. You've done it by yourself. But just when you need it the most, you hear that voice. Michelle, you're a prayer chaplain. Pray. And I had the opportunity to do that this last week. A friend of mine suddenly died, and it was totally unexpected. And she lived in a cottage next to my house. And, you know, they went through all the things of fight, because I had called a wellness call to be given. And so the next 5 or 6 hours, they were finding her and all those things. But, and of course, it's so sudden that you're just overwhelmed. It's like, what? And as they were bringing her across the patio, I just heard the voice of God. And God said, Michelle, you're a prayer chaplain. Pray. And so I said, would you just stop for a moment and let me give her a prayer as she leaves this property? And I did. And I found myself calming down. I found the peace. I experienced that magnificent love of God holding me, holding her, blessing her, and knowing that all is well. It doesn't mean it's not sad. It doesn't mean it's not terrifying. But it is on the path of all is well. And we know that God is love. And just to remember God at that moment. And the gentleman bringing her out, after I said the prayer, one of them said, "God bless you." And then a few days later, she had these beautiful lights on the outside of her cottage. And they were solar. They are solar. And one night I walked out, and you could always see them when you walked out at night, and one of them wasn't on anymore. And I thought, okay. And then the next day her sister called me and said, "We just planted a rose for Jean." And that night the other light went out. And I know she's with her family. And it's God's presence. And it's the courage to give what you need, what you want, what you desire, what makes yourself truly who you are. Give it over to God, because it will come back to you in perfect form. Unexpected, but it will come back, because it is God, and we are in oneness with God. And I just invite you in the next 2 minutes of silence just to think about what you know has come from your giving it over to God that has enriched your life tremendously. And now let's all just say the Lord's Prayer together. Let's say it slowly, really feeling the images that come out of this beautiful poem. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also have forgiven our debtors. And leave us not in temptation, but deliver us from error. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. And I say thank you to each one of you. We are in community. We are in oneness with God. And being here with all of you is such a gift. And we bring our love and our joy and our peace out into the world. And it grows because we know that love is the answer. Love is the answer, and to all of you, my heart is open, and so it is. Amen.
I used to think that I could not go on. Life was nothing but an awful song. But now I know the meaning of true love, by leaning on the everlasting arm. If I can see it, then I can be it. If I just believe it, there's nothing to it. I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. I think about it every night and day. Spread my wings and fly away. I believe I can soar. I can see it through an open door. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. Well, I was on the verge of breaking down. Sometimes the silence can seem so loud. There are miracles in life I must achieve. But first I know it starts inside of me. If I can see it, then I can be it. If I just believe it, there's nothing to it. I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. I think about it every night and day. Spread my wings and fly away. I believe I can soar. I see me running through an open door. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. 'Cause I believe in me. Whoa, if I can see it, then I can do it. If I just believe it, there's nothing to it. I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. I think about it every night and day. Spread my wings and fly away. I believe I can soar. See me running through that open door. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. If I just spread my wings, I can fly. I can fly. I can fly. If I just spread my wings, I can fly. I can fly. I can fly. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, you can, Mitch. And you're not the only one. I was transfixed, and that's a heavy word, isn't it? I was by this bird building a nest, and hello, Don. Hey, fantastic. Speaking of coming back to the nest, here you go. Yes, and of course we have Mark here too. Did you guys see Mark? Mark, great to have you here, Mark. Yeah, it was. It's a road that you've traveled, and you've done it with grace, and you've done it with that incredible courage. You step into the things that happen in your life, and you move forward, and you've done that. I'm so glad to have you here, and we welcome Jacqueline as well, who brought you here. Thank you for doing that, Jacqueline. Appreciate it very much. So, yeah, today how do I start this? So I know the drill. There's a drill that occurs within me, that I have to recognize that there are things that I must key on when life sometimes throws some curveballs, when there are difficulties that have shown up in your life or shown up in the lives of people or have sort of created a disturbance in the shalom of the nation or the world. And when I say that, I'm talking about events that just chill us to the bone, that make it difficult for us to move past it without thinking about it, without wondering about it, without feeling it at a deep level. I mean, it might be the transition of a friend, and I appreciate you sharing that with us, Michelle. It might be an event that happens in the national spotlight that just says to us, who are we? Who are we really? And so that oftentimes brings us to this place where we find that we're in some fear and we're in some uncertainty, and that makes it hard for us. It's sort of you feel it in the gut. You can feel it in the gut. It's hard to think about what's next without some roiling occurring within you. And so I know this. This is what I know. That if I'm feeling it, other people are feeling it too. If I'm feeling that way, I know other people are too. And I know something else as well from my own experience. I know, of course, that this drill, and I'll call it a drill, is an opportunity to rely on things that I know work. Those things are principles. Love is the greatest principle of all. But I know love works in situations like this, and I'm drawn to that principle of love. I'm drawn to that principle of compassion. I'm drawn to the principles that I know are fully alive in me. They just need to be awakened once in a while so that I can get through things. I know that this too shall pass. I know that if I put one foot in front of the other, and if I do what's necessary, and if I take this magnificent thing that is each of our individual minds and allow it to align with universal mind, with the mind of God, then I'm always in principle. And so I trust, and I have faith, and I move forward in integrity. I help people. I have empathy for them. I love people, even when they're perceived enemies. For we should have none. Even when I need to forgive, or forgiveness is due me, I need to step into that realm where I recognize that it's not a mandatory thing for you to do what I want you to do, or for things to unfold the way I want them to unfold. And so I've just got to relax into this, knowing that there's something beyond me, this power beyond me that heals all things, that allows us to live as one, that allows us to move through anything that happens with courage. And so I'm talking about courage today, you guys. I'm going to talk about courage today. That's part of a new beginning for us. You know, this month we've been talking about new beginnings, meaning we've been resurrected too. You know, on Easter Sunday, we call it Resurrection Day. We've been resurrected too. This is what we do on Easter Sunday. We recognize it, and we start to embody it before even Easter Sunday comes. And so we talk about the things that we want to do, what we want to be, who we'd like to show up as in the world. And then on Easter Sunday, we recognize that we're resurrected too, and we are those things. And so what do we do when we are that newness that happens on Easter? At springtime, Resurrection Day, what do we do? Well, in this instance, this new beginning requires some courage. But courage is a weird word, you know. Courage is kind of a weird thing, too, because it can be applied in a whole bunch of different ways. I mean, I have the courage to step forward, but I also have the courage to step back. I have the courage to endure, but I also have the courage to let go. I mean, it's a strange thing, and it has to be applied in a very interesting way because it requires that you have principles to abide by to determine whether you should step forward or step back, or say something or remain silent, or do something or turn the other cheek. I mean, isn't that interesting? All of those things take courage given the circumstance. So it must be something else that's driving us to that place where we need it. And I think it's fear and uncertainty. I think fear and uncertainty, when it shows up, demands that we step into this next greater yet to be with courage. So I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from. I hope you feel my heart. I hope you recognize not only the sadness, but the opportunity. And I'm going to do a little meditation that I put together about this, about fear and uncertainty. And I want to start with that. Typically, I don't do that, but I think that this sets the stage for the kind of courage that we're talking about. So could you dim the lights for me, please, Jackie? Thank you. All right, so what I want you to do is I want you just to relax into your seat. Gently move into that space of stillness. Allow your body to settle naturally. Let your hands rest easily. And if you're comfortable, allow your eyes to close. Take a slow, deep breath in and release it. Again, nice, slow, deep breath. And let it go. Now allow your breath to return to its natural rhythm and simply notice there's a presence here, a quiet awareness, a stillness beneath all thought, all effort. Bring your attention now to your heart center and gently consider this. Where in my life have I been called to step into something new? Just allow something to arise naturally, whether it be a new thing to do or a new feeling, or something that I've wanted to do, or something that I need to get past. Is it a feeling? Is it an idea? And as you become aware of this inner invitation, also notice what arises with it. Is there hesitation, fear, uncertainty? Know this, fear is not a failure. It's simply part of the threshold. Likewise, at the threshold, we meet uncertainty, which allows us an opportunity to pause and reflect, an opportunity to test possibilities and prepare. Preparation opens the door to change. Now quietly affirm within yourself, I do not need to be free of fear to move forward. Let that settle into your awareness. I am willing even now. Now gently affirm, there is a courage within me greater than any fear before me. Breathing in, courage expands. Breathing out, you release resistance. Feel into that fear, not as something you have to create, but as something already here, already alive within you. Now know this truth to deepen. I trust the life that is unfolding through me. Even if you cannot see the whole path, even if you do not have all the answers, something within knows the way. A quiet openness, a willingness to take the next step. Let this affirmation arise within you. I step forward in faith. I am willing. I am ready. I begin in this moment to feel into my greater self by recognizing that it's already here within me. I see it. I feel it. I let it settle into my conscious awareness. What I desire is already mine. And from this place, gently say yes. Not a forced yes, but a willing yes. Rest in that yes for just a moment. Take a deep breath. Release it. And start to notice your body. Start to notice your fingers and your toes and the ground that you're steadied upon. And know that courage is already within you. That willingness is enough. That your new beginning has already begun. When you're ready, take a deep breath in and gently open your eyes. Now, I had intended to use this gong. You can turn on the lights, thank you. I'd intended to use this gong to give us the little flavor of meditation, But I intended to use it before we did it. Should I do it afterward? Because you guys haven't really heard it yet, have you? Oh, you've heard it a couple times? Isn't that a beauty? All right, here we go. We got. What do you call these gongers? What are they called? Could be a mallet, but there's a special name for it. Anyway, we'll figure that out. I love the way it resonates in here. We have a good friend that made this piece for us, from which it hangs, and so we can use it again. It's great. So I'll have to remember to use it before meditation each time. So what I want to do now is talk about the courage that we probably have heard about in a parable of Jesus, which you know very well, but you might not have seen it as being a parable about courage. You've heard of the parable of the talents, you guys? You know that one? The parable of the talents. And by the way, it's not about talent. Talent is a measure of money. And in the Bible, they use the word talent, but what it is really is about a certain amount of money, usually a weight of something, silver or gold. And that talent can be worth a lot. It can be worth a ton of money almost. I mean, it's a weight. It's almost a ton of money. And it was intended to be seen as something very valuable. So the parable of the talents starts like this. For it's about a man who has servants, and the servants work for him in all regard, and apparently do other things for him too. So, for it will be like a man going on a journey. This is Jesus now telling this particular parable of the talents. For it will be like a man going on a journey, who called his servants and entrusted to them his property. To one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, to another 1, to each according to his ability. Then he went away. He who had received the 5 talents went at once and traded with them, and he made 5 talents more. So also he who had 2 talents made 2 talents more. But he who had received the 1 talent went and dug in the ground and hid his master's money. Now after a long time, the master of those servants came and settled accounts with them. And he who had received the 5 talents came forward, bringing 5 talents more, saying, Master, you delivered to me 5 talents here. I have made 5 talents more. His master said to him, Well done, good and faithful servant. You've been faithful over a little. I will set you over much. Enter into the joy of your master. And he also, who had the 2 talents, came forward, saying, Master, you delivered to me 2 talents here. I have made 2 more talents. His master said to him, Well done, good and faithful servant. You've been faithful over a little. I will set you over much. Enter into the joy of your master. He also, who had received the 1 talent, came forward, saying, Master, I knew you to be a hard man, reaping where you did not sow, and gathering where you scattered no seed. So I was afraid, and I went and I hid your talent in the ground. Here you have what is yours, said the servant. But his master answered him, You wicked and slothful servant. You knew that I reap where I have not sown and gather where I scattered no seed. Then you ought to have invested my money with the bankers, and at my coming I should have received what was my own with interest. So take the talent from him and give it to him who has the 10 talents. For to everyone who has, more will be given, and he will have an abundance. But from the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away. You know, we talked about that line, that last line last week. You know, those that have will be given more. Those that do not have will not receive any. And it's about a consciousness. So we'll start there. It's about a consciousness, and those that have a consciousness, let's say, of enough, of prosperity, of growth, a consciousness of courage, will have more. Those that don't have that will have less. Those that have the consciousness that's in opposition to that, a consciousness of fear, a consciousness of uncertainty, a consciousness of judgment that others might have around whether or not you can do this or you can do that, will not have more. They will have less. So starting with that, we see that starts to make sense if you talk about this in terms of a consciousness. But let's go to the greater idea. So, you know, this is it's not about money. And it's not about investing money. I mean, Jesus didn't stand up and speak to thousands of people and say, you know, I'm going to talk about money today. I'm going to talk about how you should take what you have and make more of it. You know, you should invest in appropriate markets, and, you know, your yield will be and X, Y, and Z, you know, like you can see on financial channels. You know, that's not what he was doing. Jesus spoke in parables, which, you know, was to fulfill a law that was offered to, you know, earlier generations by Isaiah. But it was also to give a wider range of discussion, to bring the possibility of you utilizing this parable in any way that you might need to use it, even today. So we take a look at money, which a talent is of great value, and we probably can assign our life to it. What have you done with your life? What have you done with your life? Have you stepped into it? Have you stepped into it and multiplied your goodness abundantly? Have you lived with a sense of purpose? Have you done the things that you were born to do? I love that line. Have you done the things you were born to do? It reminds me of Wayne Dyer, who has this line, don't die with your music still in you. Have you heard that before? Wayne Dyer talked about doing the things that you need to do while you have the opportunity to do them. Don't step away from this magnificent life without having done the things that make a difference in life. You know, and what he's doing really is paraphrasing what this magnificent parable actually means. What are you going to do with your life? Well, one person took his life and actually stepped into it and created some opportunities for himself and for others and maybe helped other people. I don't know. Maybe that's what that 5 talent turning into 10 talents means. Another person did it to a lesser degree, but let's not have judgment around that. I mean, you didn't hear any judgment in the parable. Let's not have any judgment around that. But where does the judgment come? First, the judgment comes from the person who didn't do anything with his life. From that one that took his singular talent and buried it. Just buried his life so that he didn't make any mistakes whatsoever. Not one mistake, not once stepping out, taking a chance, utilizing courage and faith. But just buried it. Just didn't do anything. And when asked why, he makes up an excuse. Well, I knew that you would judge me, he says. And that's what that line means, that you scatter your seed, you reap the rewards of seed that wasn't scattered by you in land that wasn't owned by you. You know, that means I know that you are absolutely a judgmental person. And so this man says right back to him, well, I'll tell you, you just wasted your life because of me being a judgmental person. That doesn't make any sense. Makes no sense whatsoever. You are absolutely the reason why this person is the reason why Jesus told the parable. So that he would let us know that we have an opportunity here to do some amazing things that are all based in principle, all based in the kinds of principles that Jesus taught. And he taught them not only in all of the parables, but he taught them with every action he took. Feeding the poor, helping people to heal, stepping into circumstances where they were in great need, bringing other people to that space where they are able to proffer all of the good works that are necessary to actually make a life worth living. And so I see this parable really about how you use your life and do you have the courage to do it. And I think that it reads really, really well from that standpoint. You know, and the question becomes, what are you doing in the face of fear and uncertainty? You know, are you just lying down? Are you just burying it? Or are you stepping forward in a way that really makes sense? You know, there are all kinds of things you can do if you're demonstrating courage. You know, I spent some time and made a list of some of these things. I mean, there are things that we can do if we're really interested in demonstrating courage, stepping into life when there's fear and uncertainty. So I use a quote from Mark Twain on courage as action in the presence of fear. Courage is resistance to fear, mastery of fear, not the absence of fear. So what he's saying is everybody has fear. Everybody has fear. What do you do with that? What do you do in the face of that fear? Do you master it or do you let it master you? It's a classic definition. You know, courage doesn't eliminate fear. It moves forward with it. Then there's also courage as moral strength. You know, I've been talking about living by principles, and I mean principles that can and maybe should be thought of as being immutable, meaning these are a part of your life, and there's no discussion. You know, this is who you are. And those principles that I've been talking about, of course, are the principles that are demonstrated by Jesus in his life, and hopefully demonstrated by each of us because we were asked to do those same things. Can we step forward in love for others? Can we accept all of those that come into our lives in a way that allows us to be of service as opposed to be a hindrance? Can we help people who are hungry, poor, who don't have the kinds of resources or abilities that we have? Can we step in and make sure that they, the least of them, as Jesus might put it, are taken care of too? Well, those are the principles I think that we're talking about when we talk about the courage to step in with moral strength. Do we have the courage to be authentic? I mean, are you really being yourself? This is a really tough one here. The courage to be authentic. Are you living a lie? Are you telling people you're something other than you are? Are you afraid that if they really knew who you were at a deep level, they wouldn't want to be around you? Are you inauthentic because of the fear that you have that others will judge you? So how does this work? We all have to be mindful that there's a saying that I have, that honesty or truth without love is brutality. Meaning there are times to say something and times when you probably shouldn't. You should probably hold on to those things. And I usually talk about this when I'm talking about, that idea of honesty and whether or not you probably, from the standpoint of being the person that I know you want to be, won't just step in and hurt somebody's feelings intentionally. And we hear children do that all the time. You might hear somebody in the grocery store, a child, pull on mommy's sleeve and say, Mommy, that man's fat. It's true, it's true. But there's no capacity to understand that there's no love in that comment. It's a judgmental comment, and there's no capacity because the child is a child, and we don't judge that child. But when an adult says that kind of thing, yeah, we have to look at it and say, my goodness, that's a little emotional immaturity, So this isn't fully about that. It's about being who you need to be while practicing those principles you need to practice. And as we grow older, we can understand that there is a balance there, a critical balance that we live in. We're honest people, but we don't hurt people intentionally. So do we have the courage to endure? Do you have the courage to endure? I talked a little bit about that, and the courage to endure is important, and it's oftentimes called out as true courage. This person, endured these difficult circumstances. It was not easy. They made their way through it, and they have the capacity, to actually stick with it. But there's the other side of that too, when it's time to let it go, let it go. Do you have the courage to let go? So the courage to endure, I think, covers both of those issues. And once again, this is a balancing test. Does hanging on align with your principles in life? Does holding on align with your principles? Or is it a time to let go because it doesn't align with your principles? So I think having principles that really make sense in life and moving forward, practicing those principles is truly important in our journey. It's truly important in our journey to becoming the new us. And this isn't easy, you guys. It's not easy. But it's what we're called to do. And then finally, courage is transformation. Which I think is courage is love in action. So we have the courage to release our old identity and become that which we truly want to be at depth. Do we have the courage to transform? When I look at the prayer of St. Francis, I think, wow, what a prayer of transformation. If you pray that prayer with a heart that is absolutely filled with a certainty that this shall be yours, you'd better be ready for transformation, because it shifts your experience completely and absolutely. Rather than being loved, I choose to love. Oh Lord, help me to do that. Help me to understand rather than be understood. I'm looking out for others. Help me to do all of those things which make me of service to the rest of the world rather than that give me the things that I think I want. That prayer is a prayer of transformation. So am I willing to do that? Am I willing to step into it with courage? That transformation that is so necessary for us to move forward as the resurrected people that we are today. And when I say resurrected people, I mean resurrected in mind and heart. So I know it's a tough subject, and it's tough for me too, and it takes practice. But I think that new beginnings actually need us to align with that principle of courage for us to move through some of the things that pop up. There's always trouble between that transformation period from who you are to who you're going to be. It's really difficult. And that's when the endurance comes forward. So you guys are great. I appreciate you so very, very much. This is an opportunity for us to get together and talk about the hard things. I appreciate that we're of like mind in so many ways, that we want to be a benefit to the world. We want to step in without judgment. We want to support that which needs to be supported, but we know how to do it maturely, from a spiritual matureness. And I'm going to say this as a final thing today. I love you. And to say that out loud is practicing transformation at its highest. Transformation through love. And I know that when you say back to me that you recognize that the God in me recognizes the God in you, and that's the same thing as loving one another. So I say to you, namaste. Whew, all right. Look at this. We got a new usheress, you guys. Yo. Oh my goodness. Kara, this is great. She brought forward a list of wonderful people who are watching. And Mike O'Brien, great to see you, my friend. Fantastic. And we got Bobby Noah on too, by the way. And Bobby says he misses you and he loves you guys. And he's doing as well as can be expected. He's having a great day today. I know. And we have Audrey. Audrey, it's so great to have you here. We also have Charlene from Tennessee. Hello, Charlene. We got Colleen from Illinois. We have Reva. How you doing, Reva? And we have Virginia, of course. Yeah. And we have Charles DeTurk from Michigan. Charles. So we got lots of people listening in. And thank you for bringing this list as well. So we're going to do our community giving now, you guys. And this community giving is all about supporting something that's important in the world. And it's all about doing something that tells us as well that we have enough. And so we just know that being together is such a benefit to each of us. And it's a benefit to the surrounding community too, because we push out a consciousness of love and caring and understanding. And we share that with others as well. We have funds that help people here in this community. And we are so proud of that we help those that were affected by the fires. We help those that are affected by food shortage, by food insecurity, and people that don't have a place to live. And we help them to move forward in a really wonderful way. So when you hold your gift on your heart, you're doing all of those things for this space and for the community. So please, put your gift on your heart and say with me, God is the source of my overflowing supply, and I am grateful. And so
little darling, it's been a long, long, cold, lonely winter. Little darling, it feels like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, here comes the sun, and I say, it's alright. Little darling, the smiles returning to their faces. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, here comes the sun, and I say, it's alright. Sun, 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 here it comes. 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 Little darling, I feel the ice is slowly melting. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been clear. Here comes the sun, here comes the sun, and I say it's all right. Here comes the sun, here comes the sun, it's all right. It's all right.
I can sort of see it up there somewhere.
I know.
It's coming. It's coming.
Yes.
Thank you, Kara. I appreciate you doing this so much. You're a master usheress now. Indeed. Yes, yes. And so here's what we promise. We promise to use these tithes and treasures with integrity to support this magnificent space, Unity of Pasadena, as well as the surrounding community, to push out a consciousness of love and caring and understanding and compassion to the rest of the world. We have a message. We live it. We share it. We are who we say we are, and we're so grateful. I release it, I let it go, and so it is, amen. Thank you so much. All right, Barbara, come on up.
When he puts it back, he puts it back. Okay. Okay, not only with courage, but with conviction. Thank you, Greg, for all those encouraging words about courage as one of the principles of love and moving through to our greater yet to be. All of which is reflected in both our vision and our mission statements. So let's share them together. Our vision, envisioning a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. And then our mission, which puts feet onto that vision, transforming lives by living and sharing our inner truth of divine wisdom, compassion, and love, using practical spiritual principles like Greg has just talked about with us. And also, we have 4 core values here at Unity of Pasadena: creating community, living love, teaching truth, and serving spirit. And hospitality is one of the ways we actually serve each other. And team S through Z, that's those whose last names start with that, and some helpers are hosting this week. Thank you all. And next week, we start another month. And so the first week is Team ABC. And also, May again has 5 months. So why don't we all do some thinking about what we could do on the 5th Sunday, which might be fun, okay? And then let us know. I haven't come up with something. I figure there's so much talent out here. Someone will come up with a brilliant idea. And then also, we did have a couple birthdays this month. And Sandy had hers last week, and we did sing on the second Tuesday, which is, second Sunday, which is birthday Sunday. But Jackie, whose birthday is tomorrow, was not here. So let's just sing to him again, okay?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday,
Dear Sandy and Jackie.
happy birthday to you.
Okay. Well, that got you folk doing a little bit of moving in your chairs, which is something that Michelle does every Tuesday morning, except as she was explaining during her time up here, she has other commitments for this Tuesday, but she's notified the regulars. But if you were going to start this Tuesday, please put on the calendar for the following Tuesday when she'll be back, okay? Thursday meditation regularly every Thursday evening, 5:45 with Helen. That's ongoing. The Saturday morning writing group with Jolinda seems to be going fine. And remember that tea time is moving to the second Sunday of the month, but next month of May, the second Sunday is Mother's Day. So mark your calendars. The next tea time will be June the 14th. And so that's all I have for today, and I'm going to give the mic back to Reverend Greg. Let me walk past you.
Oh, you're so good at that. All right, you guys, I want you to know that our prayer chaplains, and if you're a prayer chaplain, please raise your hand. Okay. Today's prayer chaplain is Michelle, but we have all of these other prayer chaplains that are here to serve you as well. And there are a lot of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes. So please stay in your seat if you'd like prayer. And they're skilled at prayer, and they take the time to help you through whatever it is that's going on in your life, or just to solidify all the good that's flowing through you. So thank you for doing that, prayer chaplains. We appreciate it. Now we're going to stand and we're going to do the silent unity prayer for protection. And we're singing the peace song today, is that right?
That's right.
We're singing the peace song. Good deal. All right. All right, so please join me in the silent unity prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever I am, God is. I am divine, and all is well.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow to take